It's really neat to be in a family where generation after generation we carry on the tradition of surfing.
I was still surfing when I was 6 months pregnant. My husband paddled out with me down in Melbourne Beach, and we had had the best swell ever. And I paddled out and caught some waves that day. It's not anything I would recommend.
My wife's like a competitor, so she was in the contest scene from the 64 on, and she did quite well and has like 30 trophies, state trophies and all kinds of things. But I was the sole surfer. If there was a contest in Cocoa Beach, I'd go to Shark Pit and go surf with hardly anybody out, and I was having a good time. Linda can go out and surf with the Hawaiians where I'd get run over if I went out there. They kind of welcome her. In April when she paddled out at Makaha, the local Hefe, Shid could tell you who it is. He paddled up to her and talked to her a little bit, and then he said, after he found out about her, he said, "Next wave's your wave," and he let her go, and he gave her a kiss on the cheek. So everybody left her alone. And you know, girls have something going for them in some situations. They like me to go surfing with them, but I have to give way there, you know. I mean, I have to be a gentleman, and you know. But it's one of those things like when you go surfing with a buddy, but he kind of wants the same wave you do, so you kind of paddle down away from him so that you don't get in each other's way.
I'm very proud of my mom. Not only that she has been such a great competitive surfer, she's won lots of contests, she's still surfing in contests now into her 60s. Her surfing career makes me very proud.
Before Disney died, he had a dream of having this wave in front of the Polynesian Hotel, breaking and having surfers surf in front of it. Well, I applied for the job. I had the background. I'd been surfing since I was 14 years old. I had a degree in physical education, health and recreation. And I told them, I'd love to work on this wave machine. So they said, okay. So they stationed me at the Polynesian Hotel, and whenever they were testing the wave, I would hear somebody run up to me and say, okay, it's time for you to paddle out. And so I'd grab a little Hobie that they had there. It was 1971, so the boards were kind of in between size then. And I'd paddle across the lagoon and catch these perfect little lefts. They were about shoulder high, and they held up all the way to the beach. But the problem was that it was eroding the beach. And so every time they turn it on, I'd get a few hours of surfing, but then they'd turn the wave machine off, and then they'd regrade the beach and do whatever they had to readjust it. This went on for about 6 months, and they really didn't know where to put me, so anytime something exciting happened up on the beach, I was there. It was a lot of fun because my roommates in Orlando would come home from work and they'd be dragging and saying, oh, they were taking tickets somewhere in the parking lot, and I'd say, oh, I had such a great day, the waves were great, or I went sailing, or I took the yacht out today. They hated me. It was awful. But I made it through that year. They finally figured out that they had to do a lot more work, and then Typhoon Lagoon, years and years later, was developed.
I got a phone call from my mother, and she goes, April, there's casting to do a surf show. And at that time, I mean, still, surfing was my life. I woke up, surfed, took a nap, surfed, ate, surfed, and went to sleep and did it all over again. So, and I threw in a little bit of school because I was going to University of Hawaii at the time too. But so I was like, really? An opportunity to surf around the world and get to meet new cultures? Of course I want to try out. So I drove my little beat up truck to Honolulu at a Roxy store. It was like right in the middle of Waikiki. And I did an audition, and the whole time I was like, there's no way. I wanted it so bad. There's no way I'm going to make it. There's no way. But I made it from one interview to the next, and then the last interview was surfing, and they go, wait a minute, you can actually surf. 3 weeks later, I was on a plane to Australia, and from there we went to Tahiti, Samoa, Moorea. And the things that I learned on that trip, besides, you know, the media hype and how to deal with people, was really, I got an experience from it that, you know, I don't think I could have got any other way. I really didn't get hooked to surfing until I was about 14 years old. My mother, well, I got grounded for my behavior, of course, and my parents said, the only thing you're allowed to do is to go surfing with us at 6 o'clock in the morning in Cocoa Beach.
I can't even remember why she got grounded, but we were a little strict.
So I had nothing else to do, so I was like, okay, fine. You know, I'll wake up early and go surfing with my parents. And, you know, at that age, you're 14 and you think that you know it all, and you are embarrassed at that time to hang out with your parents.
We grounded her from doing anything but surfing. So that whole summer, she surfed every day with us at the beach.
I went because it's the only thing I had to do, but that summer I really, really got hooked. It was just, I think, just getting out there every morning continuously and, you know, really catching long, fun Cocoa Beach waves, you know, learning at that time, you know, just the beginning of walking the nose, and, you know, it really grew into a love that my parents, you know, taught me. And it's kind of funny how I started surfing because I got grounded, but it really worked out. I'm glad my parents grounded me at the end.
And that's where she learned that she loves surfing. So it was really about the best punishment she ever had.
Surfing will always be in my life, no matter how many responsibilities you get, and it's something that I will pass on to my children. And, you know, I thank my parents for giving it to me and their parents for giving it to them.